Hello there. I'm here to show you a wonderful place.
Halo semuanya, balik lagi bareng gua Rendra di KINCIR Cinema Club. Dan di video kali ini kita bakal ngebahas salah satu series adaptasi dari game terkenal dengan franchise dan fanbase yang sangat besar tentang dunia post-apokaliptik pasca perang nuklir. Apalagi kalau bukan Fallout. Series ini disutradari oleh Jonathan Nolan, adiknya Christopher Nolan, yang sebelumnya udah nulis Memento, The Dark Knight, The Prestige, Interstellar, dan juga jadi kreator series Wasteland dan Person of Interest.
I've had a rough week.
Selain itu, series Fallout juga dibintangi oleh Ella Purnell, Walton Goggins, dan Aaron Clifton. Nah, di video ini, KINCIR yang mendapatkan undangan dari Prime Video untuk datang ke India berkesempatan untuk menginterview langsung Ella Purnell dan Jonathan Nolan untuk ngebahas seseru apa sih series Fallout ini. So, tanpa berlama-lama, ini dia interviewnya.
You can be a hero by purchasing a residence in a Vault-Tec vault today. Because if the worst should happen tomorrow, the world is going to need you to build a better day after.
Today.
Great. Very well, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm Rendra from KINCIR.com Indonesia.
Fantastic.
So nice to meet you too. Yeah, anyway, now I'm on episode 4 of the show and it was crazy. I know you like to play crazy girl before, you know, like in Arcane. I like you as Jinx. What I wonder,
you should try playing a non-crazy person.
I don't want to. It's more fun.
It's not
it's
really,
fun, right?
not really much of a stretch.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah, but in the previous one, it was like you do voice acting for very important character from the game. But now here, you play original character and you do some stunt. How's that compare the challenge that you face and also the freedom to explore the character?
Good question. I think with Arcane, I was always warned very, very early on that Arcane's Jinx would be different from League of Legends Jinx. Yeah. And so I really like doing research, and that's, I'd say, you said yesterday half of your career was adaptations. I actually think half of mine has been as well, based off either a real-life person or video game or a book or real-life experiences. And I think it's because I really love being able to sink my teeth into research and prep. This, I think, allowed me more free. Look, voiceover, you show up, you don't know the lines, you're in your pajamas, you get there, you kind of make it up, and you go. This is obviously not.
Do you guys do stunt work in voiceover?
No, we
Your
don't.
voiceover
Well,
stunts?
I have hurt myself in voiceover before. I get a bit.
That's very on brand.
Crazy.
That's very on brand for you.
You know me very well.
Oh yeah.
With this, it was great because Lucy is I'm able to create. She doesn't exist in the games. I have that autonomy, and it lends itself very well to the character. Lucy is very fresh and naive and innocent.
And strong.
Exactly, but also very strong and very, even though she might not know it, very equipped to deal with the challenges that she has to deal with.
To come up to the surface one day and restart civilization. Can you tell me what's happened in the last 200 years?
Holy shit, you're an actual vault dweller.
I am.
I thought all you dipshits were dead.
I have quote for this show. It's from Shakespeare. The quote is, "This violent delight have violent end."
They do.
These violent delights have violent ends.
Let's talk about the quote a little bit.
Sure.
You also have, you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
That's true. That's me. The other one was Shakespeare, and it's better. That one's me. And Chris, my brother, was talking a little bit about that quote and how it made its way into that movie.
How's the process like behind it? Did you explore the theme? Because it was perfectly encapsulate the theme and the story within the character.
That line in The Dark Knight actually came quite late in the process, and it was a result of writing and thinking about not just these characters, but the relationship that those characters have, whether it's Batman or Harvey Dent, to morality and whether the right thing to do is the right thing to do or the expedient thing, do the ends justify the means? And all of that plays beautifully in Fallout. Fallout is a world in which the world has ended. And when Ella's character comes out of the vault, comes up to the surface expecting to find maybe nothing, or a handful of survivors in need of leadership, what she finds instead is that the world has moved on, has begun creating new cultures, new forms of interacting, and all of them a little hard scrabble, a little rough around the edges. a little more in that Western theme that we got to play with in Westworld, in which your morality isn't necessarily enforced by outside influences. You have to figure it out for yourself. You're kind of on your own recognizance. Lucy is on her own to figure out what she's willing to do to get her dad back to right some of the wrongs that she dealt with. So it's a theme that we come back to again and again in all the work.
Why did you join the Brotherhood?
To hurt the people who hurt me?
People are going to come after you.
The show is not really an adaptation from the game, but how you comfortably describe the show for the newcomers and the OG fans, is it continuation and expansion from the game in terms of timeline and universes?
It's one of the reasons we're so excited about adapting Fallout. Because each game has a unique set of characters, each game has a unique setting, but all of these characters, all these settings connect to this larger mythology. So for us, the freedom and the opportunity to tell an original story that connected to all these other stories, to choose the right setting for the game. And I think crucially, to be able to adapt the storytelling to account for the fact that unlike the games, where you can make, specifically with Fallout, part of the gameplay is making decisions. And those decisions are either good or bad or somewhere in between, allowed our writers, Geneva and Graham, to write an ensemble series. So there's Ella's character of Lucy, Aaron's character of Max, and Walton's character of the Ghoul, who kind of represent different points along that moral spectrum.
Look out at this wasteland. Looks like chaos, but there's always somebody behind the wheel.
It's really interesting you mentioned about the morality, you know, because part of the game, the really fun stuff is when the player decide which side are they on, right? And what you expect from the fans to experience when they have the same vibe when they are choosing side in the show?
I think that sort of became the anchoring, the central theme for my character is that choice. You know, Lucy doesn't get to make that many choices. The first big choice that she makes is to leave the vault. And she starts to discover, and I think perhaps it's the same experience of a player of a game, that the choices is what shapes you, it's what changes where you go, it changes the outcome of the situation, right? And you know, it might be very difficult to maintain your golden rule and your good morals and your good heart in the Wasteland. So you have to continue to make choices is the obvious one. But I also think when the characters meet, the Ghoul, Maximus and Lucy, they have such a direct, well, I won't speak for them, but for Lucy, they have such a direct influence on her. I like Graham said, I'm a human spoiler machine, so I kind of don't want to say too much in case I ruin it and get sued, but I will say that changes occur. Was that cryptic enough?
That was impressively cryptic.
Go watch the show and then you'll find out.
Fucking vault dwellers.
Well, now that is a very small drop in a very, very large bucket of drugs.
She said stand down.
I think for me, when I play a game like Fallout, I kind of always follow the same pattern. I'll play it through once as the good guy, then I'll play it through as the bad guy.
So am I.
Just to see how the storytelling works. And then I inevitably find myself struggling a bit with being a bad guy, so I wind up somewhere in the middle. You want to see all of the different storytelling possibilities within the game. The beauty of the way that Geneva Graham constructed our series is you can watch those things play in parallel with Ella's character, Aaron's character, and Walton's character, but not necessarily in the way that you expect. People start one way, they don't necessarily wind up there. So there's a whole journey there.
Yeah, it was such roller coaster emotion there.
Indeed.
Yeah. Nah, series Fallout ini bakal tayang 11 April 2024 hanya di Prime Video. Jadi jangan ketinggalan, apalagi kalau kalian fans dari gamenya. Nah, segitu aja dulu video dari KINCIR Cinema Club. Gua Rendra pamit, see you in the next video.